New videos every day.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jeff Echols, and tonight we are going to talk a little bit about arthritis, mainly as it relates to the spine and how that oftentimes comes about happening. If you remember in earlier videos, we talked a little bit about what a subluxation was. It's actually a vertebra that's out of the normal alignment and how it puts pressure on those nerves. And those nerves can go to different areas of the body and affect the different organs and cause different kinds of problems. Now, if you think about it, when pressure is put on a nerve, I often think about that kind of like wiring in our house. If you had an electrical problem in your house, there would be problems with the wires and different things in the house wouldn't work right. But the vertebra themselves is also out of its position, which can also be like the structure of the house. In other words, the foundation could be crooked, or some of the beams in the house could actually be crooked as well. So now it's not an electrical problem, but also there's a mechanical problem there, or a physical problem there. When a vertebra gets out of position, it actually causes the mechanical forces in the spine to be out of balance. And when that happens, degeneration or arthritis can start to form in the spine. You can also think about it in terms of your car tires. When your car tires are in the proper alignment, the car goes down the road straight and there's very little wear on the tire itself. But let's say you back into a curb and you kind of knock the tire out of alignment a little bit. Now there's abnormal stress or force on that tire. And as it goes down the road, it starts to wear abnormally. And you get out of the car and you look down at the tire and you go, oh my God, there's a lot of wear on the tire. The same thing happens in our spine. When the vertebra is out of its normal alignment, out of its normal position, it puts abnormal forces on the spine, and the spine actually starts to deform. The discs, which are the spacers in between the discs, can start to get crushed down or swell. The body can actually start to lay down extra calcium in the joints, which is a sign of what we call degenerative joint disease or arthritis. Here we have a model, and by the way, this is just a plastic model. However, this model was actually made and patterned after real life people. This came from a surgeon here in the United States who took these models from real people. So this will be an exact replica of what actually takes place in your body. This one over here on my far right, you can see that the bones are nice and clean and neat. The disc, which is this part right here, which is the shock absorber portion of the spine, is very thick and very healthy. The nerves that come out from between are nice and thick and completely capable of carrying the proper signals out to the different organs. When the spine misaligns or gets a subluxation in it, it starts to cause abnormal wear to the spine, just like I explained earlier with the car tires. The disc starts to become harder and thinner. As it progresses, if nothing is done to correct this situation, it'll move to the next phase of degeneration. When I say degeneration, that's just another word for arthritis in the spine. Now you can see that the edges of the bone are actually becoming very, very rough, where extra calcium is being laid down. Also, where we had a nice big thick disc here, now the disc is actually smashed down. The vertebra is starting to buckle in and cave in, and the nerve itself is starting to get thinner because of all the pressure that's put on it. If it's not corrected at this stage, it'll go to the last stage of degeneration. And in this stage, the calcium is laid down from one bone onto the other with these arthritic spurs, and they'll actually fuse together. Now this person here has no ability to move the spine anymore. It's completely locked together. That's why when people get arthritis, they get stiffer and stiffer as they get older, because the vertebra actually will lock up and fuse together. Notice too that there's not hardly any remnants of the disc left. It's pretty much gone. And also we see that the nerve itself is just a thin little wispy remnant of its former self. This nerve can't conduct enough electricity to keep the body working the way it's supposed to, so the person will start to develop other kind of problems like we discussed in our earlier videos: heart disease, stomach problems, elimination problems, etc. So to sum this up, when we have a subluxation or a misalignment of the spine, not only can we have neurological problems like we discussed in an earlier video, where the nerve can actually be irritated, thus causing problems with the different organs that it's attached to, we can also have physical, mechanical pressures, just like we discussed earlier with the car tires being out of alignment. When the spine gets out of alignment, this progressive degenerative disease will occur. This is what arthritis looks like in the spine. Can this be prevented? Absolutely. When the spine is out of alignment, it can be corrected by the chiropractor to restore the normal alignment and stop this progressive degenerative process from happening. When should it happen? This should occur very early in life, even in childhood. The children usually slip and fall thousands of times in their lifetime, and the spine is out of alignment. Although they're not going to really have any pain to let them know that there's a problem, that degeneration actually starts then. So that by the time they're in their 20s or 30s, they're already in phase 1 or phase 2 of this degeneration process. So if you're having problems with your arthritis in your spine, check into some chiropractic care and see if you can get it realigned so that you don't have to go through these degenerative process. So not only do we have a neurological component with a misalignment or a subluxation, but there's an actual physical process that is degenerative that takes place, and that's what a lot of people call arthritis. Many of my patients come to me and they go, "Doctor, I think I've got arthritis in my spine because it really hurts, and when it gets colder, the weather bothers it, and I can always tell when a rainstorm is coming," and that kind of thing. We'll take the x-rays of the spine and we'll discover that in fact the spine has been out of alignment for a number of years, and during the course of that the spine has started to wear or degenerate, and that's what we normally call arthritis. And how can we prevent that? Well, we can prevent it simply the same way we would prevent it with a car. By keeping the tire in the proper alignment, we can make it where the tire doesn't degenerate. Our spines are the same way. When we keep those in the proper alignment and keep the joints all mobile and working good, we keep the arthritic degenerative changes to a minimum. One final note. Also, arthritis literally means inflammation of a joint. And we not only have joints in our spine, but we have them in our wrists and our elbows and our knees and our ankles. So anywhere there's a joint, there can be misalignment of that joint and attendant inflammation. Chiropractors are actually trained to adjust these joints, and we've been able to help a whole lot of people with elbow pain, knee pain, wrist pain, by just simply restoring the normal function to that joint, getting the inflammation out of there. Thank you very much.